Mark Andrews is not my lover. He's just the two, and Likely is number one. And Andrews is not my son. Welcome into the Dynasty BS show. It is September 7th. We have week one, 2 games in the book. It's football season, baby. Smitty, what's up?
Dude, that offseason, honestly, though it was long, didn't feel as long as it could have been. So I'm just really happy we got through it. It was pretty exciting throughout, and now we are here to see if we're right.
Man, we have been grinding all off season. And Smitty, you know what it's time for?
hmm
It's time for this podcast to take a victory lap before we start getting into the games, the matchups this week, the two that were played. We're going to give some advice around sit starts, all that good stuff. But y'all, my heart is on fire right now. My soul is complete. Smitty feels good because you know what? The fact that the number one thing that people are talking about right now is Mark Andrews not doing well and Isaiah Likely doing well. Listen to this podcast, everybody. This is no surprise to us. We have been hyping Isaiah Likely. He's been our boy for a very long time. But don't forget about the Reed call. We've been hyping Jaden Reed, just as much as Isaiah Likely. And you know what? Two of our my G's on this podcast just went off in primetime games, Smitty. Tell me about how you're feeling about those boys. Tell the listeners a little bit about why they should listen, and let's get into these matchups.
Man, I mean, if we really think, let's start with the Green Bay real quick. When we think about the offense, Watson had his moments of one, but couldn't keep it consistently because of injury. Dobbs was there here and out. Wicks is starting to have a bit of a bit of a blow up, but honestly, it was pretty clear that, especially towards the end, that Reed was the guy, and Brian capitalized on that pretty quickly. And he said, "We have to make sure that people know that Reed is the one, number 11." And it's just now at this point, it's clear as day. The man caught 2 touchdowns. No, he caught one, but he rushed another one. Like, come on, a receiver that rushes is like everybody wants their Debo, and this guy is just younger, number one. So try to acquire, maybe even try to find a way to to just get off from Debo to Reed if possible, because he's him. Reed is him.
Man, good luck. I think that that is gone unless
Oh, you think
let's get
so?
in a little bit. Yeah, let's get into the our injury update here because as of now, we're recording Saturday morning here, September 7th. We don't know what's going on with Jordan Love, and my heart just crumbled last night.
Mm.
And total PTSD of Aaron Rodgers last year because we have been talking about two offenses that we are very excited about this year in the Houston Texans and the Green Bay Packers. And the Green Bay Packers possibly losing their quarterback is a humongous blow to the fantasy community right now. And I will say this is if he goes down for the year, it's just as big of a blow as Aaron Rodgers was last year because we were only looking at one receiver option for Aaron Rodgers last year.
That's true.
We're looking at three or four, depending on how you want to look at it with Green Bay. So now's the time you might be able to get a trade like that done because people are worried about Reed. And I'll tell you, if Malik Willis is the quarterback there, my heart will be completely broken. Reed is not going to be what we think he's going to be. So I'm terrified right now. So now's the time you can possibly get that deal done. But I'll tell you what, I'm not doing that deal. I'm going to hold out until I actually know exactly what's going on for Love, and then if I need to win, and Love's out, I'm going to go trade Love to a team that's rebuilding or Reed or one of the other ones and try to figure it out from there. So let's stick on that game. Second game, Eagles Packers. This was hot fire.
Ooh,
This was amazing. I loved all the Spanish in the background. Like as the announcers are going, you hear them talking Spanish in the
right,
names. I'm
right.
like, oh, this is so great. The field sucked.
The
Stop playing on soccer fields. But you know what? I love the international games. I just wish they actually had football fields and real turf, like they do. But let's talk about the big ones. We talked about Reed, solid performance. Let's talk about Saquon.
Oh,
Um, is Saquon RB1 of the season this year because that man looked like he was 23 years old again.
Dude, the offensive line is such a significant upgrade. And we just think about all the times where Barkley had to put the Giants on his back alone. Now we look at the Eagles where we have playmakers all over the place. Even even Goddard had himself like a streamable like type of a performance. But it doesn't all have to be on Barkley. But if they really wanted to, he can make that offensive line work for him. I'm just thinking about all the times last year when Swift had like big games. Those big games are now consistent with Barkley. Like, yeah, RB1 is in true talks. I might even just say like top three for the season. Like it's just, and he might really be one of the best, maybe even top five in the league currently, maybe even top two behind CMC. Like I'm just really overall happy for Saquon.
I love Saquon. I always have. Don't hear what I'm not saying, listeners. But I think now you try to upgrade from Saquon to Bijan.
Ooh,
I think this is the
and
game
it
that
could
you
be
try to
done.
do it on.
It could be done.
Um, because the one thing that I did notice last night is the tush push isn't going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. I know they stumbled around it a little bit. They fumbled here and there, but that is a staple of their offense. And I would rather try to get the younger back in Bijan. And if I can upgrade, I want to do it. And I think any team would listen to that after a 3 touchdown game. I don't mind overpaying a little bit. This is what liquidity's for.
Amen. And you know what? I really do think this is like the window because as soon as you see Bijan do Bijan things, oh, might be tough. So
Yeah.
try to get it done today.
Or tear down.
Or take down.
Go get your go get yourself James Conner and go at a nice piece, whether it's liquidity or another player. I don't know. I just see a game like that, and Saquon's not having 3 touchdowns a game. Like he's not.
I think he can average two though. I think he could totally average two. I don't know.
Oh
I'm
my
just that I'm sold. I'm very sold.
34 touchdowns for Saquon Barkley if he averages 2.
Oh my
Oh man.
God. Okay,
You know,
I guess I do need to get a little more realistic. 1.1.
yeah. Yeah, so Jalen Hurts, he looked really good and really bad at the same time.
Mm,
They'll figure that out. Turnovers will go, he's not going to turn the ball over like that. I liked what I saw from Jalen Hurts. I do think that this is a much different offense than we saw the back half of last year. I think they're going to have some consistency with Kellen Moore, but
yes.
it is clear as day to me that, we talk about these wide receiver twos a lot and who we want.
Mm-hmm.
It really became clear as day to me in this game that I want a different wide receiver two on a team than Devontae Smith. Like,
Ooh. I hear you, and I'm gonna hold out hope. I'm gonna blame the field. I'm gonna, I'm just gonna. What I've really learned is that Jalen Hurts is kind of forcing himself to throw the ball now. Like it's kind of crazy. Like he's not taking off like Lamar did the day before. He's like really like forcing himself to throw, and I think that's gonna pay off sooner than later. I think just they got to get out of that Brazil. They got to get off that field, and I got to see week two before I can say that. But I hear you.
it just didn't look like he was a dominant receiver that is going to demand a high target share. Like, that's the one thing I
Okay,
noticed. And
yes.
look, A.J. Brown didn't really have that many targets either. But we are obviously running this offense through Saquon and A.J. Brown. So, uh, Devontae Smith had an okay game. I mean, in a PPR format, it looked okay.
Mhm.
Looked okay. Maybe you can pivot off of him right now. But I'm trying to avoid that Devontae Smith range or use him as a piece to tear up for something out there. Um, but Saquon's going to smash this year. Oh, Saquon's going to
Oh,
smash.
of course.
Let's talk Packers side. Jordan Love looked really good. Look, he did the same thing Hurts did. He had a couple really bad turnovers, but he looked really good. Let's hope he stays healthy. But let's talk Christian Watson. This is a very down on Christian Watson podcast.
Unfortunately.
Um, I think we saw exactly what that offense is going to look like. And I don't think it's going to run through Christian Watson. I think this is going to run through Jaden Reed. I think it's going to run through, Dobbs will get his games in there. Dontario Wicks was on the field a lot. And what really surprised me, Smitty, is when they were in run formation with only two wide receiver sets,
Hmm.
Dontario Wicks was on the field as the two almost 100% of the time. That was the one that got me. But he left the game with dropping what, probably at least two, I think three, maybe balls and no catches. So
Yeah, I'm about
is the Wicks
to.
breakout going to happen? I don't think it is. I think I don't think it's going to happen. I think we were all holding on hope, and I was never on the Wicks side on this offense. So talk to me about the wide receiver breakup, especially Watson.
I mean, okay, so Watson, just officially don't assume that he's going to be the one. And if anything, I'm happy he got a touchdown. So like, there might be flex appeal there, which is pretty cool if you want that. Wicks, I think his time actually might come. It's just, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, trying to bank on it. So, shout out to you guys that have him in best ball. I think that's where you should have him in the lineup league. That's going to be tough. That's going to be really tough to bet on. And Dobbs is kind of like a forever flex to me.
If Jordan Love goes down for the season, you have a dead asset in Christian Watson. It's a
You know
dead
what?
asset.
I'm not ready for that yet. It's just because part of in my heart, I still love the guy. But you're right, for sure, Wiggs, for sure. I mean, I don't know yet. I'm gonna say I don't know yet. Yes, wheels are down for everybody, but I don't know if I can. I think Watson could probably figure it out.
I think Jaden Reed is going to be the only asset that's worth holding on to if Love's gone. I
Oh,
really do.
and let's also mention Tucker Craft. Like that might be
Talking.
just a stash at this point. I mean, and a worthy little stash. I mean, he might be a thing.
I had a very good uh, week for the MyGs of my squad. And I want to recap these MyGs, by the way.
Yes.
So MyGs for you, Smitty, as we did the offseason, were Jaden Daniels, Keon Coleman, Allen, Chuba, Kenneth Walker, Hunter Henry, and Fergie.
Yep.
Mine were Isaiah Likely, Luke Musgrave, Brian Robinson, Kyler Murray, Jaden Reed, Tank Dell, and who the heck was my second running back? I can't remember right now. Who did I go
Moss,
with?
Zach Moss.
Zach Moss. That's right. Um,
Already clear
I am
starts, by the way.
terrified of what I just saw out of Luke Musgrave.
Oh,
I am terrified. That was my little Trey. I call him Little Trey McBride.
because he totally is. He totally is. I thought that was a fantastic name for him. It just didn't see it this week. I don't know. Because at the end of the day, I know he's more talented than Kraft. I just know he is. We all know he is. So,
Tight, tight end premium league. If I get this wrong, listeners, I'm sorry because I also still have my heart involved in this advice. Is I think this is a really good buy low time for Luke Musgrave. I mean, like this has to be like his worst game. I think
I fully
if
agree.
Love is the quarterback.
Oh my God, I forget about this. Like, I'm just really sitting here in La La Land. It's assuming that everything will be all right for week 2. God, this game is cool.
Yeah. Let's just say all my two tight end that you have to start two tight ends in lineups. Luke Musgrave was in every single one of those lineups that I have, and I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I'm gonna lose to Joe Sung, bro. I'm gonna lose to him. He started Andrews, and I started Likely against him, and talking so much smack. And Luke Musgrave goes and throws a donut egg up. All right,
That,
let's get into the other game because this one was hot fire. We don't have to talk about injuries here. We can really talk. So we got
yes.
Ravens and Chiefs. How blessed were we that we opened up the season with that football game? That was an incredible game.
Could have cried. I mean, I'm gonna just get to it right now. It was incredible until the very end. I just really wish that things would have ended differently. I kind of wish I mean, let's just look at the things that the Chiefs got away with. They got away with
Mitty,
their offensive
can I
linemen just.
can I put you on hold for two
Oh,
seconds?
for sure.
There's something I forgot to do as we started breaking down this game.
Hmm.
The first water bet is in
Oh.
for the year.
Oh.
And this guy, while you're talking and breaking this down, is going to get wet for the rest of the podcast.
Oh
So
my
keep up
goodness.
your
So
analysis. Let's go.
yeah, so we did a water bet. I said the Chiefs will win. He said that the Ravens will win, and honestly, he was close. And if they were to go for 2, they would have probably won. But man, those shoes, those black shoes on Mr. Likely, just very clear that he was. Oh man, very clear that
Oh,
very clear that that touchdown wasn't in. Oh man, that's unfortunate. Okay, I have to admit, I feel bad. I feel bad because he had such an incredible week, and his advice has been just spot on. It sucks that he has to pay this water bet, man. That's tough, but there you go, Chiefs. You can't bet against Taylor at this point, and she was there.
Hey, for a likely breakout, I'll get wet all year long. I have no,
Hey,
I have
yeah,
no problem with
let's talk about his performance and just how over the offseason we were like enamored on how during the playoffs there was a clear mind meld between Xavier like Isaiah Likely and Lamar Jackson. Like when they had like a unspoken thing that just made things work out, and Isaiah Likely was kind of like the only reliable player on that offense and during the playoffs last year. That seemed to have continued. Thank goodness. So if you're talking Isaiah Likely versus Mark Andrews, I mean, is Mark Andrews still pretty talented? Absolutely. Is he injury prone? Absolutely. So I'm very worried on that end, but try to acquire some Likely because I mean we're looking at guys like Zay Flowers who, honestly, it's fine. He's gonna get the targets. We're looking at Rashad Bateman, who is an L. Well, then we're looking at, I mean, who else is even on that offense to catch? I don't even know who else is receiving on that offense. I mean, you know who was surprisingly amazing? Justice Hill. He was surprisingly amazing. And what that tells me is that when Keenan Mitchell is healthy, oh my God. Oh my God. That might be a my G number 3. I freaking love Keenan Mitchell.
stash that boy in your IR. Stash him away. But here's the thing about Andrew Smitty. And you know what? So that, podcasts we listen to, look, we are fantasy footballers. We love those guys. Those are our three dudes. They helped us get into all this, just with what they do. We wanted to kind of see what we could do.
Hmm.
But they say don't underreact, don't overreact to things week one. Here's the thing, Smitty, you're right. This was not a breakout that just happened for Isaiah Likely. The breakout happened last year. And, a lot of people want to say, oh, well, Mark Andrews was blanketed coverages. They were covering him by three players.
Oh,
Fine, good. I'm not saying Mark Andrews isn't going to have games. I'm not saying Mark Andrews is going to go out there and do what he did every single game of the year. What I am saying and what you are saying and what this podcast is saying is Isaiah Likely is not going to come off the football field. That's what we're talking about. So all you people that want patience and say don't overreact on Andrews, that's fine. He was an elite tight end when he was the only target in that offense, when he was the only tight end in that offense. But you want to know who ran the majority of his routes through the slot? Isaiah Likely.
yes.
He's not coming off
Yes.
the field.
Yeah.
The fact that he can jump up and catch a ball the way he did at the end of that game, yes, I get it. It wasn't a touchdown. Look at the possibility of him doing that over and over and over in the red zone. He's not coming off the field. This is not going to be a amazing year for Mark Andrews. You know what? He'll have some games. And when the game script turns around, trust me, when they're up, they're going to run this rock, and Isaiah Likely's not going to get the targets he did. But my question is, how do they get up? And is he part of that offense that's going to get 8 targets before they get up? Because I think he's a 6 to an 8 target a game guy.
Yep, I
I don't
fully
think
agree.
Mark Andrews is an 8 target a game guy now.
I totally agree. Oh my God. And that's so funny how sad that is because, oh, you all, I mean, you all just really believe this man was the lead, huh? And the thing is, there was a time when he was, but like Brian said, when he was the only target in this offense, it made sense. Competition now.
And I also believe that one, Lamar Jackson's probably the best athlete in football. I
Oh my
mean, maybe we
God.
got A Rich, and I mean, there's some really good ones, but
Hands down.
he's up there. If he's not number one, good Lord, he's top 5, whatever you guys want to say he is. He's elite.
Uh-huh.
Isaiah Likely is the second best athlete on that team, and it shows. Go back his last 5 games last year. Go watch what he did last night. Did you see the way he walked in like a grown ass man into that end zone on that first touchdown? Woo,
Yep.
baby.
Yep. Oh, it was elite. It was elite to watch. I
And
mean,
the play he got injured on and then didn't get injured, he went up to get that, bro. He went to the sky to almost get that. So
dude, I just hope his influence is running through that offense because God, they really need more receiving options, and I just hope Devontae Walker can just shadow him, straight up learn everything, like how Puka is learning everything from Cooper. I need that to be a situation because, dude, that offense needs it. I mean, my God, I feel so bad for all the receiving options. And then in Zay Flowers, I mean, he's kind of, in my opinion, he's a forever flex guy. Like I'm not confident in throwing the man in my wide receiver two, maybe the third wide receiver slot, but flex. That's who he is to me.
I spent the entire offseason talking about selling Zay Flowers. He's going to get a lot of targets. That was a takeaway from mine, but they were all the short distant targets. Um, Lamar's going to throw him the ball. I was probably a little too down on Zay, but at the same time, he's not stretching the football field. I
And
mean, he's
I don't even
not.
think he made 10 points. I don't think he earned 10 points fantasy wise.
It was like 4 for 40, I think, or 6 for 40. It was
Uh,
something like that. It was all really, really, really small. But as we talk about not overreacting, I think there's a player in this game that does stand for. We need to
oh, here we
take
go.
a very deep breath in, Mr. 4.21, Xavier Worthy. Nothing made my heart feel better than that because I am a worthy guy. Smitty is a worthy guy. We are having so much fun. He had 3 targets in this football game. He is going to start demanding more targets as he goes. But what he did for this football team, he stretched the field when he wasn't even getting the ball to allow the dog of that offense and Rashee Rice. Yes, I get it. They kept targeting him on one play. It's a really good play. It's a really good play when you have 4.21 speed,
Mhm.
literally stretching the field as you run the slant. Rashee Rice is the one. Rashee Rice is a dog. Him and Jaden Reed, I've said this all week. They are Debo dog yak mofos. They are out there to do exactly that.
I
I
love
am
that. The Yak
all in on Rice.
the group of
All in
Yak
on Rice, bro.
I love that.
Yeah. I got an inbox offer for a first for Rice right now. I am going to decline in a league. I don't need a receiver right now because that first is going to be top 4. And I'm not willing to pay that price for Rice. But if I got a back end first, I'm going to counter this guy with my own first that I think is going to be the. I got to get the Jordan Love news because I got Jordan Love on this team, but it's going to be the 11 or 12, dude. So go get Rice. You know what? Maybe some people are still a little bit stressed out about whether or not he's going to get suspended. I'm one of them. I'm absolutely
Yeah,
one of them, which is
me
why I
too.
don't have a lot of shares in redraft. You're going to miss this guy for 4 to 6 games, whether or not it's this year, back end of the year, early next year. At this point, cross your fingers, it's early next year, so you don't have to deal with not having a playoff. But he's a dog, dude. I was impressed with Rashee Rice. How are you feeling on Rice?
Dude, I'm feeling like I'm fe- this is how I'm honestly feeling. I feel like I should probably do a better job at keeping my heart away from talent because I just absolutely hated the Menace to Society movie he pulled in Texas. I couldn't stand that, and he was dead to me. But when on the field, he's him, and it was clear. And I just have to personally learn how to separate that so that I can make sure that when I see a breakout in the first year, especially with these rookies for 2024, when I see a breakout like genuinely happening, that's my guy. Year two is a thing. Yeah, that year two, like, okay, if you're breaking out in year one, the year two like consistent dog type thing, like kind of like Isaiah Likely, you might want to fill your roster with those.
Agreed. Agreed. And take a deep breath in on Travis Kelsey. Look, I
Mm,
know you can make the Mark Andrews Travis Kelsey comparison. Here's the thing
that's fair.
Noah Gray is not Isaiah Likely. And Travis Kelsey doesn't have Isaiah Likely in the other tight end spot. I'm not worried about that at all. Look,
So fun.
there's a mind connection with Travis Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes, which also take a deep breath in on Patrick Mahomes. He is going to be electric this year, especially when 4.21 really starts learning how to get separation off the line.
Mm.
I'm pumped. Both of these teams I'm all in on almost, except for Andrews. Andrews is the only dude on these teams I'm not all in on right now.
Oh, you know what?
Um,
We didn't talk about the running backs, and I just want to do it really quick. Um, don't buy Justice Hill. Like I know his that game was pretty sick, but I mean, because he has nothing more than flex appeal moving forward. I guess that was pretty obvious though. Derrick Henry. I think you should probably sell him as soon as he has the game we were all promised because that was interesting. That was interesting. He was not looking too good in the receiving game, which we don't expect Derrick Henry to be that guy, right? But That's what that team needs. That team needs receiving options.
They do. I got a different take.
Okay.
I would go buy Derrick Henry right now.
Ooh,
I get it. I get it. Here's the thing. I don't believe the Ravens are going to be down a lot, and he's going to be on the field more. But I also don't believe he's going to go against a D line every single week the way that they just did.
great point.
I think Ravens look disorganized because Jim Harbaugh doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to play his starters in the preseason. You know what? Props to Andy Reid. Andy Reid played his starters in two of those games, some of them in the third. He did that to get ready for week one because this game that the Ravens just lost for being disorganized could potentially cost them a bye next or in the
Mm.
playoffs. And Andy Reid had his team ready for that one. But I think the offensive line will get a little bit better. And when they are up, King Henry's not coming. He'll be in the play action passing game then. The game script was horrible for him this week. I think he's going to be a stud still.
Okay. Okay. I guess I'm legitimately overreacting, but I am worried.
You might not. I could be absolutely crazy. I mean, this is one of those things that just might
But
be
you make
so wrong
that
on.
makes sense though. And here's my big thing: what is worse, the Titans' offensive line or the Ravens? That is, I was actually very surprised by how bad the Ravens' offensive line was.
It was pretty bad. It,
And
it, it was pretty bad. But I think King Henry is going to be touchdown dependent, 100%. But if there's
yes,
one touchdown dependent back, I'm cool holding it's him. Um, he's going to be a double digit touchdown guy this year. Like I don't see any which way he's not. And if he gets you 12 touchdowns, who cares if he gets you 50 yards a week? He's like for price you bought him at or traded for him in the offseason, like you have capitalized on that price so much. And if you fall out and you're not going to be a playoff team, you have a piece that will be worth something to get rid of for next year because I'm not going to make the bet on Derrick Henry going into next year. That I'm not going to do. This is a
yeah,
this year thing for me.
that's a,
Isaiah Pacheco was the workhorse back. Workhorse
he
back.
was. But even with that being the case, oh, just Carson Steele, please. I know you're a rookie, but step it up a little more. I want this Pacheco thing to end. I don't know why. It's just. I don't know why. It's a personal thing, I guess. It's maybe a little hate involved in the guy, but I just don't think. I don't think this is okay. Here we go. So people are talking about Pacheco like as a second round guy in redraft, maybe even a third, and I think he's more realistically in that fourth round range. Is probably where you get the most value from. Third round, maybe even, but and he played against a good defense, so I don't know. I just don't think. I think he is a low end RB1, high end RB2. I just think that's what he's going to be moving forward.
Yeah, he's got to get some touchdowns. He's going to be on the field a lot. Um, I don't know. I didn't have Pacheco rate as high as most people, but I don't have him ranked horribly low either.
Yeah,
So he might be your Mr. Consistent 10 to 14 points a week, which is fine,
which is
but
fine,
doesn't
but
get you the 20 to 25 spike weeks maybe.
we're just gonna have to see. I see his average being about 14. That's what I see. But I mean, I could be wrong. He is the workhorse, like you said. So I don't know. This I'm a little nervous.
Yeah. Josh Jacobs, by the way, we didn't cover him in the other game. Let's just spend a second
Oh,
talking about
right.
him because
Oh,
what a bipolar first and second half he had. He was averaging under a yard a carry in the first half, and I was like, holy crap. Then he went out and averaged over 8 yards a carry in the second half, and it's not like he only touched the ball two or three times. Like they fed him the
yeah.
rock. What does that mean to you? I don't even know. He can do it, but what the hell happened? And was it just getting to understand the offensive line and the scheme because he didn't really play much in the preseason? That was a wicked. I don't know what to think about that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say, I'm telling you, I was not happy with that first half. I was kind of making fun of him the whole time. I was like, this guy is a loss. But I guess we'll have to wait and see with him. I'm a little nervous if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a slight downtick. I'm a little nervous.
I am. I'm nervous on everything. It's all about what happens to Jordan Love, and we'll
Mhm.
figure it out. At least it's not his ACL. It's not his ankle, which actually that would probably be best case scenario. We'll find out
Yes.
about what's wrong with the knee. Let's just pray to the fantasy gods and for this kid that it's just a sprain and he's out for a little bit. But all right, let's get into breaking down some of these games. We'll go pretty quickly here. So Cardinals Bills. I'm going to start off being a homer. Let's let this one rock. Cardinals, starting everybody. Marvin Harrison, K1, James Conner. If you got to get dirty, 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 and you are just having, T. Higgins, like just injuries at the wide receiver, you know what? Maybe you take a shot on Michael Wilson here. Maybe you're firing up Trey McBride. Like nothing stopping me from firing up the Cardinals. I think you probably feel the same way, Smitty, but let's talk about what we're doing with the Bills. This is where sit and starts get really weird for me.
Okay, just really quick. I don't see Michael Wilson as a nasty start at all. I think that is a really awesome flex. I'm not even. I mean, obviously, yeah, I think that's a really awesome flex. I'm actually very excited for him tomorrow. Oh, Bills though. Okay.
Start with the
I'm confident in
receivers.
Shakir. I'm confident in Shakir for sure. And I
Okay.
love Keon Coleman. I'm very excited for that. And James Cook, I don't know. It's just I have a weird love-hate relationship. It's his fumbles. I don't think he's gonna fumble. I think he's gonna be fine. I think he's gonna have a pretty good game. And then Josh Allen. I mean, imagine not starting Josh Allen.
You're firing up Josh Allen's implied point total is 47 and a half. Buffalo has a negative 6.5. So they're
Really?
favored by 6.5 here. Home game for the Bills.
Oh, it is.
Um, I would like to avoid starting Keon Coleman if I can. If I can. There's leagues that I will not be able to avoid that in deep leagues. Start 11, start 12, start 10s. I think I can find a way to avoid it. I would rather be on a Khalil Shakur, Curtis Samuel side. If Samuel or Shakir, both or one of them, like has a very good game, I would be looking to pivot off of them and realize that the rookie might take a little bit to get there. And if Dalton Kincaid has a not so hot of a game, I'd probably try to get something with that because 7, 8 months ago, imagine getting a second for Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel. Like imagine that. Like don't miss your window if they're the vets that come out and have good games. James Cook, I'd fire up James Cook. He's going to be a look. I got him going against me in too many leagues, and that means running backs going against me just do well. The Cardinals are probably going to have a bad defense. They're probably going to have a bad defense. So I think you go Kincaid. I think you go the Stallion, Cook, and then figure out plant your flag on somebody else in there because one receiver is going to have a game.
I if we're talking, I mean that's this kind of been like a slight theme of this pod. Khalil Shakir in the playoffs was one of my favorite players to watch. I loved his connection, and I honestly I loved how it just made Diggs look pretty bad. But I'm very confident in Shakir this week, and then also just because I love the guy, very confident in Coleman. I mean, just he has opportunities. He's gonna have targets. There's just no way I would sit him, but I'm most confident in Shakir and Cook and Kincaid, of course.
Yeah, we're both on the same page. If I have to start Shakir versus Curtis Samuel, it's Shakir. It's Shakir all day. Curtis, Curtis Samuel's out to have a game. Oh boy, that's going to be interesting. All right, this one's going to be a fun one. Steelers, Falcons. Smitty, who did we say would be the starting quarterback week 1 for the Steelers all off season?
Dude, I mean, we knew that Justin Field was going to have his time to shine, but goodness, it came early. Like what? Something tells me. I mean, injuries are unfortunate. I'm sorry Russ has to deal with this, but wow, just
Looks like we
we're
were
really
right.
about to have a. We might just see like a QB1 performance. I mean, well,
What do you
but then let me give some respect to what the Falcons were able to do in the offseason. They went crazy on defense, and it's like that might be a sleeper defense if you guys play with defenses in your leagues, especially playoff time. But we have to see. We'll have to see. But all I know is it's gonna be a tough game for Fields because of that defense, but it's gonna be great fantasy wise. So we're gonna get a lot of rushing, but I am worried about the offensive weapons. I don't know if Pickens is gonna have a good game if Fields is the guy. You know?
if Justin Fields goes out and has himself a game, let's say he gets 100 and over 100 yards rushing.
Oh my God. Oh my.
There's a window. There's a window. I talk about these windows. There's a window that you might be able to get a year and a half ago price for Justin Fields. Because if they win and he has a good game, I'm not sure Russ isn't going to come back and start once he gets healthy. and I am out on Justin Fields, and you know that breaks my heart. I'm out. This dude, he can't throw. That's what I kept saying he would learn how to do. He has not learned how to do. He doesn't know how to read his third read, his second read. Like, I'm out if he has a good game, and I can get a price for him, dude. I can get a really good price for him.
Yeah, you can get yourself a real starter. I mean, you can get. I'm actually really trying to run down the line. So
Will Levis and a piece for Justin Fields if he goes off and Will
perfect,
Levis doesn't.
perfect. That's perfect. I was really sitting here thinking, is Trevor Lawrence too much? Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is way too much. That is the perfect range. Okay, wow. I mean, yeah, that's the move.
I would I would not go down to the Bryce Young range. That's and look, I know Will Levis and Bryce Young are really close in their range, and I get that Bryce Young probably has guaranteed more time. I don't believe in Bryce Young. He didn't look like a good football player last year. So that's the only one I wouldn't go down to. But if you really needed to and you're a rebuild team, you might have to go do it. You might have to go do it.
I think it'll work.
Um,
I think it'll work out, but it's not going to be. I mean, actually, yeah, that's gross. That's gross.
so what do you I got something that's scaring me here. Okay. Russell Wilson being traded to the Denver Broncos. Remember all that hype?
Yep, that happened. Yeah.
We've seen this happen before.
Oh my God, I don't. I know where you're going.
Old quarterback coming off an Achilles. And I'm in on this offense. I've been in. Could we have a Russell Wilson when he went to Denver type season out of Kirk Cousins?
I'm gonna just straight up say no way because of the receiving options. I mean, well, weapons period. Because of the weapons period, I'm gonna say no. This seems a lot more sticky. And then also, what sells me on Christian Kirk or what what sells me on Kirk Cousins is familiarity with the system. Kevin O'Connell, kind of a McVay tree type of guy. Now he's going to Raheem Mostert, who's definitely a McVay tree type of guy, and also the offensive coordinator. I already forgot his name, but anyways, it's a little smoother of a transition. Russ had to like really learn a lot of stuff. Like he had to really adjust to Sean Payne, which never did happen. I think this adjustment between Kirk and his new offensive coaching staff, or just coaching staff period, is going to be a lot smoother. And then the weapon upgrade, I'm so in on Kirk. I mean, geez, what a nice QB2 to have.
I am.
Finally, a nice
Well,
QB1.
we always talk about, I just want to see it. I just want to know. We want to know with Garrett Wilson. We did that for Trey Lance for so long. I just want to know. We got the answer on Trey Lance. We're going to get an answer really quick on Drake London and Kyle Pitts because
Hmm.
if they can't do it with Kirk Cousins, they are not going to be elite.
I
Kirk
fully
Cousins
agree.
will feed his dogs.
I fully agree. And
Yeah.
it's also like that's not a shot on Michael Penix either. It's just you're just absolutely right.
Yeah. And I'm high on Drake London. I'm high on Kyle Pitts this year. But out of the two of them, who are you higher on? Because this is
Oh,
crazy to me.
London
Because
by
Kirk Cousins,
far.
really? Because
I,
Kirk Cousins loves to throw to his tight ends, but he also feeds the wide receiver one. Like it is a great combination for those two. I hope we get something close to Justin Jefferson out of Drake London with Kirk. He's not Justin Jefferson, but if he can break the top 8 or 9, I'd be thrilled for Drake.
I see that as like a I don't know. This is like you're really about to hear some hard talk. I see that as a no-brainer. I really do. Like top eight, that's I understand the true competition out there. I mean, we got Garrett Wilson, top, who's up there as well. It's just yeah, I believe it. I really am excited for this offense.
Fourth year. He hasn't done it yet. We
That's
just
true.
think he can.
That's
Kyle Pitts did it as a rookie, hasn't done it since, and it's probably Arthur Smith and bad quarterback play. I mean, we'll chalk it up to that. All right, let's get on Patriots Bengals. Bengals were my defense start of the week. They were I've got them just dialed in on any redrafts that I play defensive in. I'm getting scared. Jamar Chase is going to be limited if he chooses to play. T. Higgins is pretty much doubtful, ruled out. Um, I still want to dial up the Bengals defense, but how many points are they going to put on the board?
dude.
That's the biggest thing. Fire up your running backs. Zach Moss, Chase Brown. I know people say sit them, see what it thinks. If they don't have receivers, they're going to be throwing the ball to one of these running backs.
Yeah, no, I agree, dude. Honestly, I kind of absolutely freaking hate the Bengals defense. I think that squad just gets worse and worse. I don't even remember what type of additions they made during the draft, but I know that some of those players that were good have ended up in places like the Ravens and oh my God, they're I forgot who one of their better players is elsewhere too. It's actually I cannot that defense is dude. I might even just say it. We might have start of the week potential in Hunter Henry and Jacoby Brissett. Like I don't know. Like I really cannot stand that defense. That defense is so embarrassing. And then maybe I'm overreacting to the pieces they lost, but I don't like the fact they lost those pieces. It's kind of like it's not comparable to losing Aaron Donald, but I just like we have to really that defense is going to get played with.
It's a bet against Patriots. I really don't know how good Cincinnati's D is, but I don't think the wide receiver core is good. I think Hunter Henry's going to have a game though, but there might be another star of the weekend here. Chad Lova, you listening? Is Chad
Oh,
Lova listening? Mike Gesicki might be the start of weekend here.
whoa! What a nice pick, dude. Oh my God, slipped my mind, dude. Yes.
Good. You don't get to put him in your DFS lineup because he's in mine.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You
Trust me.
don't get to steal my idea.
Trust me. I got it. I got one. I got one dirt cheap, but I love it. Honestly, that's a great pick.
Yeah,
Uh, you
I
know,
would avoid this
real quick,
game.
how much was he?
Um,
Well, is he under?
Gesicki, I don't even know if he was drafted. To be honest with you, he would have been $1 if he got drafted.
No, I mean like in DFS.
Oh, I don't know. I got to set my lineup, but I'm telling
Okay,
you, he's cheap.
we'll figure that out
He's
later.
cheap enough. I'm starting him. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We got our DFS coming next.
Yeah, that's a DFS
Um,
play for sure, though, guys. Shout out.
Yeah, but I would avoid this game at all possibility. I would even avoid Joe Burrow in this game. I would get to another quarterback that you might be able to, one of the podcasts we talk about the ballers, they were talking about Trevor Lawrence over Joe Burrow. I fully agree. I fully agree with that this week. That is not a year-long thing, but I would try to get out of that if you can. If you don't have targets, you're not going to have a good football game. Texans, Colts. This one's cool. Firing up all Texans across the board. Doesn't matter who they are. If you're a starter, including Dalton Schultz, you're firing them up, right?
100%. And dude, I want to know, like, okay, everything with the Texans is going to be fine. I cannot wait to see who's the wide receiver one week one. If I had to guess, it would be Dell. I love Dell, and that's here my guy. So we just are pro Dell people.
I don't know how to do an N and a K, but
Yeah,
Tank.
that's cool.
Tank. Let's go. Let's go with Tank. Colts. Look, I don't know how you don't start Pity City. I don't know how you don't.
Hmm.
But if you could slightly avoid it because you're really deep in Dynasty, in redraft, I don't think you have another option. In Dynasty, you really might have another option. I would really like to see what this running game is going to look like for the Colts before I throw Michael Pittman in that lineup. I'd go for a little better matchup, but I do think the Colts are going to be electric, and there's going to be a JT game and an AR5 game, and we're going to cross our fingers and hope that AR5 can actually throw the football, which I do believe he can.
And yeah, yeah, wow, that preseason game put put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, including mine. And dude, if I'm being honest, the Texans is not a defense you want to figure this out with. Like that's a tough defense. Oh my freaking God. One of the scariest defenses in the league, in my opinion. So you know what? Let's just hope for the best.
Bro,
I'm
there's a
gonna ask, do you think AD Mitchell has flex appeal? Because I'm a lean yes, but it's a scary yes.
anything more than a start 10, yeah. I think if you're in a start 11, like possibly it just depends on your roster. Um, You got to have some steel underpants, no doubt about that. But there is a 48.5 point implied total points with Houston having -3 as the favored.
Hmm.
So this looks like a very high scoring game. I think this will be a lot lower scoring. I possibly would bet the lower on this one, but who knows? Jaguars Dolphins.
All right.
I'm just going to say this right now.
Uh-huh.
Start everybody.
Period.
Every single starter out there, just start them.
Dude,
Just start him.
I'm hyped for BTJ. I'm hyped for Kirk. I'm hyped for oh my God, Evan Ingram. Oh my God. But at the same time, we're gonna get a healthy Jalen Ramsey, and that could be a serious problem for one of them, for only one of them.
Who? Who? So
Oh,
asking
good
for a
question.
friend.
Okay. Mhm.
I've sent this out to our other podcaster, Cassidy, asked him his thoughts. For some reason, every single team in Dynasty and redraft that I have T. Higgins on, I also have Brian Thomas Jr. I have no idea how I have the combination of both of them if
That's
I have
smart.
one of them. Is this the week I start Brian Thomas Jr. over? Is this a week I could fit him in? And I got a deep line. They're all deep lineups. Like he's in my starting flex spot 100%.
Uh, Dude, I want to say yes because I think Kirk is going to be the one that is going to have to deal with Ramsey the most. And Ramsey, he really is best when dealing with one dude. I think that one dude's Kirk. I think that one dude's Kirk.
Yeah.
I'm now talking through it. Yeah, I think Kirk is screwed.
I think this is a fire up Ingram. I
Oh
think
my
Ingram could really eat in the middle of the field. Um, that'll be interesting. But Dolphins, there's nobody I'm not starting.
God.
Mostert, I'm starting Devon Achon, 204, or Buzz Lightyear. I'm starting Waddle. I'm starting Hill. I mean, everybody. The tight end position, I'm probably not going to start. And I don't think that that's a big question for anybody, regardless.
No, but
Panthers,
we are excited to see what that looks like, but don't test it.
Panthers Saints. The
Oh,
only person that I'm looking to start in this game is Chuba Hubbard. Thank you, Smitty. That is, you got me on him. Chuba Hubbard and Chris Olave. I would like to avoid every other aspect of this game if I can.
I love the amount of respect you're putting on the Panthers because you didn't say Kamara. I do think that that Panthers defense is the front end, not the back end. Front end is a lot better than expected. Maybe even I am a little worried about Kamara. Now that you mention it, uh,
I want
certainly
to see
worried
what he
about
looks like.
Price. Certainly worried
He
about Price.
held out. He held out. He didn't. He hasn't played. I want to see what it looks like. And I'm probably gonna have mud on my face. Come down. He's probably gonna catch 10 balls, and it's gonna be like Brian, you're an idiot. But I do want to see that. I think I have other running backs that I can play above Kamara, like Zamir White, Zach Moss. Um, that's probably I'm not going lower than that range,
Mm-hmm.
but I would like to see. I would absolutely be starting Zamir White over him. I
Agreed.
know Zamir's not going to get a lot of targets, but he's going to have the bulk of the work, and I just rather someone. I don't know. I don't know. But Panthers, I'm avoiding. Vikings Giants. This is an interesting one. Malik Neighbors, you got to fire him up. Doesn't matter if you haven't seen it. You got to fire up JJ. Um,
Um,
Aaron Jones might be sneaky sit. Sneaky sit. This Giants D is actually going to be pretty decent, dude.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I even what more so than the Panthers front. That Giants front is serious. That Giants front
Yeah.
is serious. I'm actually insanely excited to see how that looks. Would
Let me ask you this,
you?
Smith. Let me ask you this. If Daniel Jones, Vanilla Vic, who we've nicknamed, if he goes out and balls out, let's say he's got 40 to 50 on the ground and a touchdown and then does decent in the air, what are you doing with him?
I mean, Sell sounds like a good idea, but he's kind of locked in. I mean, I this would be the time to buy. It's just okay. You said like 40, 50 on the ground and decent there. Yeah, I'm buying. I'm buying.
Brian,
Yep, because
I
that
don't know if I could sell him at that point because when he plays, he's a really good fantasy football quarterback.
true, true.
Oh, it's going to be nice. But I'm really looking at that one. Jordan Addison. I'm off on Jordan Addison. I did a horrible trade in Leah record. I'm so mad. I went and got a my guy. I traded Addison for Musgrave. I just deep benches. I wanted to back up my second tight end because I got Njoku. But you know what I'm pissed about, Smitty? At the exact same time, I sent out Jordan Addison for Luke Musgrave and Jordan Addison for Isaiah Likley. I sent them both out at the same time because I was like, I want one of my guys. Scotty accepted a trade within 30 seconds. I literally sent it, sent Isaiah Likley, and I looked down, and Musgrave was accepted. I was like, damn, I really wanted Likley though.
Oh, that's tough, dude. That's tough. Um, I mean, like he's a tight end. Like he's a useful tight end. He's skilled, in my opinion. I think he'll be fine. Addison though, ugh, that's just the Sam Darnold of it all. I'm not interested.
Yeah, I only want JJ. I am going to fire Baron Jones in dynasties because if I've got him, I'm just going to ride him until I can't, and I'll just live with it because I don't have depth at running back in dynasty. You know me; I'll go buy him throughout the year. Raiders Chargers. I'm just going to
Hold
say
on,
we
real
got
quick
10.
though. Just really quick, I feel better about Singletary than Jones.
Yes, yes,
And
you are
it's
correct.
given
Thank
by
you for that.
much.
Volume. He is going.
Oh,
He might be the running back that catches the most footballs in week one.
yes. Yes. I love it. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. He's
Thank you.
Raiders and Chargers. Oh,
Yeah.
this game.
Raiders Chargers. I'd like to avoid this game at all costs, except for Zamir White if I can. I want to see what this looks like. Obviously, I'm not going to avoid Devontae Adams. He's in my starting lineup. I'm not overthinking that. But everybody else, I want to see what Brock Bowers does. I want to see what Mayers does. I want to see what the hell Harbaugh is going to look like with the Chargers. Like I don't think I'm firing one Charger up in a lineup this week. I promise you, there's somebody on the waiver wire on the bench that just looks more attractive
Really
for week
over
one.
Lad McConkey.
Yeah.
That sleeper function where if somebody cannot play, you can swap them out. If I had a T Higgins lineup, I wouldn't. If I had T Higgins in my lineup and he just doesn't play, I would not be completely against seeing what Lad can do. But that's only in a desperate situation.
I
So,
would rather start Keaton Coleman. I would
oh,
rather start Brian Thomas Jr.
okay, for
I
sure.
would rather start A.D. Mitchell. I would rather start obviously Marv.
What about Michael
I'd
Wilson?
start most rookies over Lad this week. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Okay, all right, I hear you. And you
Yeah.
know what?
Imagine if they run the jumbo set. Imagine if they just run the ball 60% of the time.
That would be so. That would be so infuriating. Oh my god.
They're
Oh,
going to run the football.
you're,
Yeah.
oh
And
man.
I don't want to mess with the backfield either because we have just old backs that have been good when they play, but I don't know what this is going to look like. They're going to ride the hot hand. Holy crap. I'm not betting on a hot hand and a 50-50 with, 30-year-old running backs and one coming off his third horrific injury. Like, I want to see what that looks like. I really do. Broncos Seahawks. Seahawks might be a good defensive stream of the week.
Yes.
Going against a rookie quarterback. I would like to avoid the Broncos. I honestly would kind of like to avoid the Seahawks. Obviously, if you got DK, you can fire him up. I was giving off a lot of advice to start a guy like Rashee Rice over DK. Maybe DK blows up, but look at this may not be a high scoring game because of a rookie quarterbacks. I don't want to bet on Geno as a better quarterback than he was last year just because he's in a new system. Like, I just want to see how this plays out for the Seahawks. You probably can't avoid him, but if you can, this isn't a game I want to invest in.
I gotta be honest, I'm super excited for the Seahawks. But that's not true. I'm excited for the Seahawks, but there's only one man that I know will be fine, and that is Kenneth Walker III. I'm glued. I'm glued to this game for my man Cape.
Really?
I think he's gonna
All
be all right.
right. Do you know how hard it is to play in Seattle as a rookie quarterback?
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
All right.
Imagine.
Commanders Bucks. Let's just go over this real quick because I want to spend the next 7 minutes we have on the other two games. But Commanders Bucks. I'm firing up McLaurin. I'm firing up JD5. If I just don't have a better option, you might have a better option of an elite quarterback and you got him late, or in Dynasty you got him as your third. Bucks, I think you got to start everybody. I mean, I would like to not play Baker, but whatever. I start his receivers, so why not?
Yeah, I want to see what that Godwin slot action looks like. It might be glorious. I mean, this is kind of like my favorite game of this slate, just because I cannot wait to see Jaden Daniels. I just got to see if because this is like a nice defensive test right here. This is a respectable defense, the Bucks, in my opinion. So I think this is a cool test to see what JD5 can do immediately. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited, dude. I might even throw Senate out there. I might throw Senate out there, and that's like if you have no other option.
I would play Zach Ertz over Sinnott this week, but
Oh
it might be
my
the only
God.
week I do that. I
Oh,
mean, that one's difficult. I get it, but I don't know, man. Start. Oh, I don't know.
that's nasty.
That's nasty, dude. It's nasty. It's nasty. But let's get into the two best games we have left this week. I
Hold on,
think
hold on. Cowboys Browns. Did we do that one yet?
we did not do Cowboys Browns. We got three more. All right, we're going to be about an hour and 5 minutes. We'll be a little bit over an hour. Cowboys Browns. This is an incredible game. I think two really good defenses.
Hmm.
My question that I have is, do you have the balls to start Rico Dowdle? Because I think he is going to lead this backfield. I felt it all year. Everything coming out says he's the most complete back. I am not going to bet on Zeke Elliott. Maybe he flops into the end zone, but I don't know if I have the balls. I want to see it, but it's not going to surprise me if we have a Isaiah Likely type community that says, "Oh my God, how did you not see Rico Dowdle?"
Dude, you're the best. All right, so like how I said JD5 has a decent test with the Buccaneers. Rico Dowdle, he has a serious test with the Browns. Oh my God, I'm actually very. He's a sneaky Sid, but if he does well on this game in particular, if he does well against the Browns defense, oh my God, you might really have an RB2 with RB1 like upside. Like that's we just have to wait and see. I think I am not gonna start him just because I'm scared of that defense. But God, if he goes off, man, if he goes off,
So I only have him in a few starting lineups because of Dynasty and my zero RBs and how I do them. But
hmm
if he was playing any team other than the Browns, he would probably be my start of the week.
oh, I love it.
Any team.
I love it. I
This
love it.
scares me. Can Jalen Tolbert step up? Fergie, I think he's a number two option. I mean, I'm all about Fergie in this game.
Me too, but Tolbert was such a good question. Oh man, I mean, ugh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet. I just have to see it. I'm not ready, dude. What
Would
a
you avoid the Browns
Watson.
players right now just to see if Deshaun Watson still has something left?
I mean, I'm gonna throw Cooper out there. I'm gonna throw Mark Cooper out there every week as a wide receiver
Yeah.
too. But yeah, it's not gonna be fun to watch. I mean, it might be. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I just have to see. I just have to see Watson, but I am pretty confident in. Oh wow, they have Trayvon Diggs back. Oh, that's a tough game. Okay. That's a sneaky sit.
I am excited for that sexy man David Njoku.
Oh,
I'm excited for him. I think the tight ends are going to eat in this game, dude.
this could be a tight end watch. A tight end watch.
Yeah.
I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
Yeah, Jerome Ford, you got to push him in your lineup, right? I don't care about the
Yep.
defense he's
Tough
going to. You
defense.
probably have to.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this though. I'm a little more confident in. I'm a little more confident in Dowdle. I'm a little more confident in Dowdle
Damn.
between him and Ford. Yeah.
I have sold you, man. I have sold you on Rico because I think that's
Yeah.
close, but the only difference is is going to have the whole backfield, dude. He's going to have the entire
That's
backfield.
true. That's true. I just don't
Yeah,
think Zeke has a thing. That's
yeah, but
my
this is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I don't really like either one of these teams personally, so I have no skin in the game. But I always root against Dallas. I'm sorry. Don't be mad at me. My community just, it is what it is. Cowboys and the Niners. I don't like them. Although I really actually love all the players on the team. That's the sad part about it. I love all of them. They're all good dudes. All
I
right,
really
let's jump into the highest implied point total of the week. Your Rams
Oh, sure.
versus the Lions, 52 and a half implied point total with Detroit a negative 4.5 favored.
Guys, I'm very excited for this game. Despite the way the Lions treat us, I love that team. It really they have potential to be my second favorite team in the league. So this matchup is freaking exciting. And I'm gonna just say this right now. Amon Ra might be the best receiver of the week. We as in the Rams, for those who don't know, I'm a big Rams fan. Our corners have been sliced and diced one by one. IR here, injured here. It's just bad. It's just our secondary is bad. I mean, we have Tre'Davious White. We'll see what he can do, but I mean, ooh, Lord, that Amon Ra share of yours is going to go crazy. I mean, if you can find a way to get Amon Ra in your lineup, I mean, I just see a massive game from him. I really do. and it's
Yep.
pissing me off. But he's gonna go crazy.
Yeah, I can't imagine you're sitting any of the starters in here minus maybe JMO.
I might even throw JMO in. I might think this might be the game where he does decently to the point where you can sell him immediately. This might be the JMO sell window. Like if you have not gotten a chance to do it in the offseason, boom, you have a big Sunday night opportunity. Because I mean, just I'm so worried about our secondary. It's not. It's gonna be bad.
I finally got rid of my last JMO share,
Oh, you did?
and I had a
Oh,
lot of them. I traded him in
fuck.
3 leagues once I got that sleeper tweet that he wants to lead the league in yards and touchdowns. And they had a hype for about a couple weeks going. I did the Aaron Jones trade, dude. I traded him for Aaron Jones in all 3 leagues, in some sort of fashion. But I finally exited the ship, and you know what? I don't care if he goes off. It is what it is. I needed running back, so let me start getting production there. Do you know how many times he would be on my bench, even if he goes off week one? This is not going to be a weekly thing. Um, Rams, you got to start everybody, but who's the tight end?
It's Kobe Parkinson. I just don't know if he'll have any real play. Um, yeah, that's a scary start. I'm not gonna lie, that's a very scary start. I'm not excited for that. Though I will say this: I guarantee that David Montgomery is going to be a bigger factor than people believe. I think that's a borderline RB1 in this game for Kyron Williams as well. My curiosity is Blake Corum going to see the end zone? Is Blake Corum? I mean, I know he's going to see work. Sure. I just do you remember when it was directly after the Super Bowl, the Rams versus the Bills. We were all very excited for Cam Akers, but Daryl Henderson got the start. For some weird reason, I'm thinking that's going to happen again, and I might cry, dude. I'm overexposed with Kyron Williams. I might actually cry. I might be like, whoa, Kyron
So
did
who was
it.
you sold me so much throughout the season that my heart started going into Kyron 204. But who was my number one sell for the majority of the
Your number
offseason?
one sell, just so aggressively, was Kyron Williams. You said this guy is, I mean, productive when he was, but it's not going to hold up. And I actually get it. At first, I was not gonna hear it. I just couldn't, but I get it. All I'm gonna say is I get it. But I do think that the community as a whole is possibly overblowing the fact that he's returning punts because Kyron Williams is returning kicks, which is, I mean, Blake Corum is returning kicks, which is so funny to me. That means they're gonna be pretty. This is gonna be a pretty cool kick return, like pretty cool kick return, pretty cool punt return. I think we might see some like real interesting plays going on.
My takeaway, by the way, on that kick return thing is from an injury standpoint, the kick returner is much less likely to get injured than the punt returner. There's just going to be touchbacks this year, dude. I don't think even teams want to deal with that. They're just going to kick the ball out of the end zone. I mean, that's what we saw, all Thursday and all Friday,
That's
right?
true. That's true.
Yeah. Do you want to water bet this? Because I do have the Lions winning this game.
Oh, disgusting. Oh, disgusting. Ugh. I mean, trust me though, it makes a lot of sense, but just I can't. So, yes, I mean, I can't take the Lions on this, even though it makes a lot of sense. So yes, I will absolutely water bet for my LAR.
All right, let's go. Head to head, money line, Lions versus Rams, water bet of the week.
Oh my.
But I'm starting everybody else. Jets Niners. This one's more interesting where, you know,
I agree. Oh my. Yes, this game's gonna be sick.
do you know Aaron Rodgers against the 49ers has just always gone out and just trashed them? Like that's the thing is he's always trashed them. Like he's done really well against the Niners in his career.
Dude,
I'm
isn't that
starting G
my favorite
Willie.
quarterback?
I would like to avoid Aaron Rodgers. I do believe you probably have another option than Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, 100%.
Um, I want to see what he looks like. You got to fire up Brees Hall. I'm not firing up anybody else for the Jets. The Niners, what are you going to do? You fire them all up. Maybe you got another option than Brock Purdy, but I'm telling you, if you got Brock Purdy, you're going to be just fine.
I mean, dude, this, okay. We've covered some pretty scary games defensively. This is the scariest. This is the scariest game defensively. Oh my Jesus. The Jets defense, the Niners defense. Was this just be an overall low scoring game?
I don't know.
I'm kind of
Hassan
picturing,
Reddick isn't playing.
So what?
Hassan Reddick isn't playing.
Oh, oh my God! What the?
I mean, he doesn't have a contract and he hasn't even been in the
Forgot
facility.
about that.
So um, Trent Williams is. Christian McCaffrey seems to be healthy now with what Sleeper's saying,
Hmm.
at least. I think there's some points to be scored. I think if there's a chance of a team scoring lower points, it's more the Jets than the Niners.
Yeah, agreed. I agree with that. I can see Garrett pulling off a pretty good game. I don't know. It's just the
I
Jets
hope
have a
so.
better overall offensive line, I think.
I went back to the well with G Willie and League of Record after he crushed me last year. So I hope so. You got to start him. There's nobody else there. There's nobody else there other than G Willie. He's going to get 150 plus targets this year,
Woo!
as long as Rodgers and him stay healthy. All right, that's all we got for you. We're a little bit over an hour, guys. Anything else you want to say to our listeners? The last thing I want to say to y'all is tune in, guys. Seriously,
Mm.
we've been grinding all off season, and some of the things we've been telling you to do have really come to fruition. The first couple games, and given this is a crazy game, as our boy Cassidy always say, it's for stupid people that want to be sad.
Yeah.
Totally true, but look at the analytics are on point, and the players we're telling you to target in offenses so far has showed out to be ballers. So tune in, guys. We're not giving you really bad advice.
I hope I'm not. I'm just really happy to I'm just really happy to be here. This is so much fun to me, and guys, we made it. Week 1 is about that. Oh God, I mean, I think I might cry by the end of week 1, dude. Just we did it. We got here.
It's a great offseason, man. It was a great journey this offseason, but we're dialed in, fans. All right. Thanks for the time today. Hope you all liked it. Get those rosters set. Start letting those trades fly. Who knows what's going to happen? Cheers, y'all.